Mr. Pillai, Justice Siddharth Mridul, General Shokeen, Agnostus, and everyone who is present here. Thank you so very much for having called me here to speak on this very important topic. Agnostus, in his opening remarks, said that we are the hope for this, for resolving this situation. In fact, it is only the hope that we keep surviving on. Otherwise, there doesn't appear to have been taken any concrete measure or steps to resolve the problem which has been festering for 21 months now. The beautiful state of Manipur appears to have been left at its own devices. The resignation that came about on 10th and the president rule that came about on I think 12th isn't really a proactive action to resolve the issue. The resignation came because of the issue of impending no confidence motion in the assembly and impending loss, and therefore the loss of faith that the Bahrain government and also by implication the central government would have faced. It also perhaps came because of the fact that a truth lab in Hyderabad has said that the samples on the audio tapes which supposedly say that Bahrain, which supposedly contain the voice of Mr. Biren Singh, matches 93% with his voice. And also because of the order given by the Supreme Court to carry out forensic examination of these particular tapes. So this Mr. Biren, who to my mind is the symbol of whatever is happening in the Manipur state, should have resigned much long ago, maybe on 3rd of May 23 itself, or at least on the day when those two ladies belonging to Kuki tribe were paraded on the streets of a particular town in Manipur. He should have gone. He has been let go by simple resignation. He should have been tried for the offense of his omission and commission in controlling the situation there. Now, to start with, it all started on the 3rd of May 23 with a set of violence that took place near Churachandpur town. For us, common people, it all started on 3rd of May. But actually, it perhaps has started way back in 1891 when the census carried out by the British declared that the Meiteis were hill tribes. Meiteis were amongst the tribes of those areas. That continued till the time of independence, when the constitution was prepared, they were not included in the list of scheduled tribes. So that is their claim to being declared as a scheduled tribe. Now, they say that they were not declared scheduled tribes based on statement of a few amongst them who did not understand their ancient religion, ancient Sanamahi religion, and therefore the consent of majority of Meiteis were not taken, and therefore they should be given the status of ST. The main reason for which they want this ST status is the land, because as per the local laws prevalent in Manipur, the land cannot be brought in the hill areas which is inhabited by the tribal people. There's acute deficiency of land in valley, 11% only where the Meitei majority lives, remaining 89% or something is in the hills, and they cannot acquire land in those areas as per the land acquisition laws prevalent there. Then this judgment, which came on 27th of March, and the violence started on 3rd of May, the period in between perhaps should have been utilized by the government to explain to the people that this is not a final order. That order only said to consider their claim for being designated as scheduled tribe. The government, I am not aware whether they pleaded in the court or not. The government should also have stated in the court that twice in the past their claim to the ST status has been rejected by the government. Once in 1982, when the Registrar General said that they do not fulfill the criteria for being declared a scheduled tribe. And once again in 2001, when the then Congress government headed by Mr. Nipamcha Singh stated that the Meiteis are Kshatriyas, Hindu Kshatriyas, and therefore they do not fulfill the criteria of being categorized as scheduled tribes. It was followed by 3 laws that were introduced in the assembly in 2015. One of them, although all those laws were interconnected, but one of them was a problematic law which said Protection of Manipur People Bill 2015. It sought to include Meiteis amongst the indigenous people of Manipur state. That created apprehensions in the minds of tribals, hill tribes, and they thought that perhaps by declaring them, including them in the list of scheduled tribes, their rights will be infringed. They also became apprehensive because thereafter there were certain pronouncements by the VHP and RSS-funded organization which said the tribes which have converted to Christianity should not be included in the scheduled tribes. So these issues created apprehensions in the minds of tribal people that their rights will be infringed and their land will be taken over by the dominant Meitei community, and the influence of Meitei's committees will further get enhanced. There are 3-4 committees which have been formed in the past. One was 1965 Lokur Committee, headed by the then Law Secretary. There was another headed by Mr. Dilip Singh Bhuria, who was an MP. And there was another high-level committee headed by Professor Khaka, who all laid down the traits for inclusion in the scheduled tribe category. And it has been a consistent view of the government of the day that the Meiteis do not fulfill this criteria and therefore they should not be included. Having said that, the government of the day in Manipur consistently says that there is foreign interference in fomenting the problem in Manipur. If we look into the census figures, and they say that most of the Kukis are foreigners. If we look into the census figures, in 1901, the Kukis formed about 14.5% of the population of Manipur. And in 2011, they are about 16.2%. So there is slight increase in their percentage, but it is not as much as to say that they are that foreigners are influencing or fomenting the problem in Manipur. In my view, this stand is often repeated in order to divert attention from the internal problems which perhaps have been self-created by the people in power. I heard one of those seminars, I heard that on YouTube, wherein a panelist here, Justice Mridul, said, I'm not sure, but I see an invisible hand or words to that effect in fomenting this problem. So perhaps there's an invisible hand. There are people who are interested in, did I use that word correctly, invisible hand? There perhaps is a invisible hand, there perhaps are vested interests which are keen on fomenting trouble in this beautiful state of Manipur. And as early as in 2018, Mr. Biren Singh, in a regional India Today conclave, is supposed to have said that there hardly are any infiltrators. There are only 7 or 8 Rohingyas which have been apprehended. This was in 2018, the regional conclave of India Today. So illegal migrant issue is being used as a political game plan. And there's an advisory issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2020, February 2020, which says that the refugees who are coming from Burma should not be given the status of refugees. They are illegal. They should be treated as illegal immigrants. And in fact, the state of Mizoram has said that they will not be able to declare them illegal infiltrators. So that is one. Then the issue of drugs. As it is, Manipur is located very close to the Golden Triangle, and there is a problem of drug in there. Churachandpur having the dubious distinction of having the highest number of HIV cases. Now, as per a study carried out in Ukhrul in 2014, the poppy cultivation, poppy otherwise grows in the wild. But as per this study, the organized cultivation of poppy is carried out due to indebtedness. And that study concluded that almost 12% of the population grows poppy because of in order to pay back the family debt. So 12% of them do that. Then there's another, in 2022, there was a MOU signed between National Botanical Research Organization of Lucknow and Manipur State Medicinal Plant Board. This was in August 22. And a contract was given to an organization called Indica Nutraceuticals. And it was found that this organization was recently formed and they had not registered themselves. And so this gives an indication that of that invisible hand, whether the drug issue is being highlighted. And then between 2017 to 23, there were 2,518 individuals arrested under the NDPS Act. Out of them, only 823 are cookies. 823 is quite a high number, but it is only 1/3. The remaining are 381 Maitis and 1083. This is between 17 and 23, the 6 years. So it is not that only cookies are involved in drug business. All communities cooperate with each other in carrying out this drug business. And the top level, and you must have heard of that famous additional SP, Brinda, who says that a person who was apprehended with almost 4,600 kgs of heroin, she was compelled to release him. And she resigned and returned her gallantry medal, and thereafter this person was granted bail, and he's now. So The poppy cultivation is a cooperative effort by all the communities involved. The topmost people are the highest, as per the report, they are the topmost people in the state who benefit the most. And at the bottom of the supply chain are the poor farmers who are being accused of cultivating drugs. Then the question of autonomy, which is the demand of cookies. They want now, and they have been repeated assertions that nothing less than autonomy. Or so if we go back to history again, even the merger of Manipur, at the time of merger of Manipur, it is stated that the reign of king of Manipur spread only in the valley. The hill portions were not included as part of his kingdom. Then there are other studies, one by a retired CRPF officer, another by two academicians, who all say that the areas under the kingdom of Manipur were mainly in the valley itself. So the demand for autonomy emanates from this particular fact. And in 2003, all Tribal Students Union of Manipur submitted a memoranda to this effect to the government, that they should be given autonomy. This was in 2003. And then again in 2022, they asserted this, this particular fact. And they also agitated against the statement of Biren Singh that land belongs to Mother Nature and not to any particular community. The demand for autonomy also emanates from the fact that the hill areas are extremely backward. There are hardly any development in those areas. I had 2 tenures in Chudachandpur, and 2 kilometers outside Chudachandpur, there was hardly any development. The Chudachandpur district hospital had extremely poor infrastructure. So, and in fact, the SP, the SDPOs of both of police and of the state administration were functioning from the headquarter town of Chudachandpur. They had never seen the remote areas of Anglip and other Singhat and Bihang areas. They had never been to those areas. And there's a small town called Singhat between the border town Bihang and Chudachandpur, 30 odd kilometers. At that point of time, it had taken me, at least 3-4 hours to reach that particular town from Chudachandpur, and just about 30 kilometers. I'm told the situation has improved quite a lot now. And then there's problem of extension of the 6th schedule also. Insofar as the security forces are concerned, we were it's a correct question. What are the security forces doing? Well, security forces perhaps are operating with their hands tied behind their back. Number one, they are being obstructed by various kind of civil organization or even militant organization. Arambai Tengol and Mira Paibes, who had a very good beginning. Mira Paibes are a social organization who had very good motive, but they are now obstructing operation of security forces in that particular area. And then they are also hamstrung by the fact that 19 police stations, I believe 6 more have been included, so 13 police stations in the Imphal Valley have Armed Forces Special Power Act has not been applied in those areas. In the normal course, I would go by the argument that armed forces special power is a sort of excessive kind of arrangement. But then, in a situation where more than 6,000 weapons and a few lakhs of ammunition is looted as in handed over probably. So in those circumstances, it is necessary that the society is disarmed, that these weapons are recovered. Otherwise, the violence will keep happening in those areas unless these weapons are recovered. Now, the president rule having been imposed, I feel that the security forces perhaps will get more free hand to operate. Armed Forces Special Power Act should be applied uniformly all over the state. And the two warring tribes will not readily come to table together. One will have to involve negotiators, independent negotiators who do not have any vested interest in those areas. So what readily comes to my mind is that the Nagas, who have so far kept themselves away from the conflict, and also perhaps the what they call them, Gaon Buddhas in those areas, who are very highly respected and whose voice is heard, they can be involved to convince their own communities to come to the negotiating table. Over 10,000 FIRs have been lodged, and last I heard was that investigation into hardly 6% of those FIRs has been started. 6%, मेरे ख्याल में 60 हुआ out of 10,000. So the victims who have suffered, they must get a closure. Otherwise, the wounds will keep festering. And then the issue of drugs, it has to be addressed. It has to be addressed not only by burning poppy crop, etc. It has to be addressed by providing them alternative means of livelihood, which can be medicinal plants, horticulture, cattle rearing, and so many other things which are also eco-friendly, which do not play with the ecology of that area. And all aspects of ST, granting ST status, all the committees that have been formed, they must be considered. And also the question of land reforms should be understood. I'm not touching upon the border management because I'm sure General Shokeen would address that appropriately. Thank you so much.